welcome back to the program. Bukola joins us. Bukola, welcome.
Yes, thank God it's Friday.
It's Friday.
One of those Fridays when your car key suddenly gets missing.
And it rained. It was a beautiful one this morning.
Yes, indeed.
Just that the, my own is Ikeja. They refused to give us light, or they took the light or whatever.
They're drying the cables.
My band A is not band A.
So like once the cables are dried, they'll return the power.
It's not band A like band A before. But let's get to the dailies, guys. Mr. Adeni Ifetayo is the CEO of Megastar Magazine, joins us. Mr. Ifetayo, thank you so much for coming on the program. If you can help us unmute your device, Mr. Ifetayo. All right. We hope we can get that sorted. But let's get to this Nigeria. Is where we're starting off from. This Nigeria. Rivers Assembly dangles impeachment acts over Fubara deputy. List budget breaches, demolition of chambers among 7 sins of the governor. State's APC faction calls for ceasefire. So there's, in their gross misconduct allegation, there were 7 things from extra budgetary expenditure. The list is long, 7 of them, and to other allowances accruing to the staff and the members of the National State Assembly, and several other things that are listed that maybe you will highlight at some point of the program. But Mr. Ifetayo, we've seen this drama. I was telling my colleague Kade that if I have my way, I would. Guys, if I have my way, I don't even want to make a single comment on this matter. I'm just looking at the fate of democracy. But it is what it is. Less than 3 years, 3 impeachments, 1 state of emergency. We've had a House of Assembly of 4, a House of Assembly of 3, defection, reverse defection, inconclusive defection, let me use the word, and then final defection, then splitting of the House of Assembly into 2. You people stay this side, that one stay this way. You know, it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to manage the words I use on television, but it's just exhausting that in 2025, 2026, I call this, with the kind of politics I see in Nigeria in certain spaces, I call it juvenile politics. As Kayode has said, there are so many things the world is focused on right now. And in Africa, we're still playing the politics of disagreement, like there's politics going on in America, but things still happen in America. Developments still go on. America is busy fighting its internal politics, but they are doing things outside America and doing things within them. And here we're dealing with things that shouldn't even make headlines. I'm not saying you cannot disagree, but how did the political class in Rivers State get to a point where they are not able to put their acts together as adults, as men who have been trusted with power, that impeachment 3 times, and all the things that we're looking at. And if you look at it critically, Bukola, there's enough blame to go around. There's the blame on the head of the governor, blame on the head of Nyesom Wike, blame on the head of the House of Assembly member. And now APC is in the mix.
And you know, Jeffrey, from the time that, you know, the State Assembly and the executive in Rivers State began to go back and forth over whether a meeting that was supposed to hold, the governor didn't quite, you know, call it or not, or he wasn't ready to meet with certain Rivers lawmakers at the State and National Assembly, it was already certain that the Cold War still existed, perhaps even from the point that the reconciliation was brokered between the factions, or the godfather and his godsons on the one hand, and you know, Rivers Governor Simlai Fubara. The body language in the room spoke a lot about whether or not, you know, there was a defrosting of the ice between both parties. And you could nearly run away with the idea that, you know, based on what one of the Rivers lawmakers was saying on our sister political program yesterday, when he was doubling down on the breach of the Constitution, Fiscal Responsibility Act, that indeed, you know, the governor deserved defection. But when you also read between the lines following Minister Nyesom Wike's attendance at his continuing thank you rallies in Rivers State, when he said, I will not allow myself to be buried politically. We've made a mistake. We're not going to repeat that mistake again in Rivers State. We'll support the president at the national level, but at the state, we're not quite sure. And he said the proceedings for which that will be ensured will come shortly. And then we begin to see impeachment proceedings launched yet again at the State Assembly level. Then you want to, do a double take and think about whether or not this has got to do with a breach, or if you like, the continuing breach of procedural rules for governance in Rivers State, or there are political undertones beneath. Those are the questions that we should begin to ask, or that we should continue to ask. We've been asking these questions all along. Some will call this a menace of godfatherism, not just in Rivers State, but in the political landscape of Nigeria as a whole. And that really is at the heart of the matter. And it looks as if, despite a declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State last year, the suspension of democratic institutions in the state, that the politicians in Rivers State are going for the jugular, not minding the huge sacrifices that had been made, the political instability that had gone on in that state for a long time. They are yet to launch a second, or if you like, third or fourth part of the Cold War, and it will continue.
No, this one is beyond.
We should hold also the All Progressives Congress accountable in all of this mix. What was the agreement that was brokered between both parties that the minister is now quoting? Who conceded to what part of the agreement? Did Governor Fubarak concede to an agreement, under pressure? And so we should ask those questions of the All Progressives Congress as well.
Okay. All right. Yes, let's bring in Mr. Yes, there's a lot to look at. There's a lot to look at. But let's allow Mr. Fatai to come in. Mr. Fatai, what do you make of this never-ending conundrum?
Yes, it's just it beats my imagination that, just like Bukola said, someone just wants to go for jungular regardless of democratic institution. I was taken aback after the emergency rule, and we thought everything was sorted out so that people can enjoy the dividends of democracy, just for us to wake up and notice that the House of Assembly embarking on a proceeding, to impeach the governor. I thought initially you first of all set up a committee openly to investigate him, and also they should give him to meet with the committee and answer for whatever query, whatever doubt they had about it. And even when they are talking about misappropriation or presentation of budget, you remember before the state of emergency, he had planned, after it was, talked to, and he had planned to go and represent the budget to the State of Assembly. And you remember that it was short and nobody was available. And of course, building that demolished House of Assembly, which nearing almost maybe 95%, I stand to be corrected, almost 100% to completed. And I felt that they are just going too fast, and it's not good for our democracy. And like Mr. Wiki said, it will not stand to be very politically. I told someone yesterday that the quality of a leader, or one of the quality of a leader, is that who succeed you. Most of our leaders in this dispensation, they want to put their puppet, they want to put those they feel that they can control. No, until you as a leader, until you make a leader out of your follower. So trying to rule indirectly, third term, which is not constitutional, is not something that is good for our democracy. And of course, I think the APC, they need to speak up. Mr. President needs to speak up. And talking about the agreement they said they had before, it's just like somebody who is in party. Here you had an agreement. Immediately you leave that party. Going to another party is an entire thing. Entirely, it's a different ball game. But I think they should just, so that it's to not escalate to both parties, taking up arms, causing unrest, and maybe back to state of emergency. We just hope that will not happen.
Let's touch on. God, you have the next one.
Ladies first.
Okay, thank you. Let's touch on Vanguard newspaper, which is also reporting impeachment in Rivers State. Impeachment, APC Rivers Assembly at war over Fubara and deputy. And there are a host of writers here. Perhaps we should go to the others, touching on other areas. Well, we'll take all of them so that it goes sequentially. APC, PDP factions reject impeachment move. Drop impeachment threat against Governor. INC, IYC urge assembly. PDP split as Wike's camp backs Rivers Assembly. Lawmakers accuse governor's deputy of misappropriation. Others vow not to receive 2026 budget from Fubara. Adjourned to January 15. ADC monitoring Rivers crisis, yet to take a position. That's ascribed to the spokesperson. So other political parties are now watching to see, how it pans out. But Mr. Ifeta, talk to us about the split political parties in Rivers State now. We now have two factions of the APC, and then there's a PDP on the one hand. How should we be interpreting the voices of support or dissent to this latest impeachment move in Rivers State subsequently when we see how this goes?
Thank God for Nigerian constitution sometimes when they said granting or governor or president enjoy immunity, they put it in place so that they can face governance. I think one of the things I felt that they should do is to just allow this man. It's just in the next year we are talking about election, whatever may be your grievances can be sorted out. Of course, for the political party, Bukola, you helped me that fly will always perch where there is a saw, where there is boy, where there's something that can perch on, and all of that. So those who are supporting PDP faction, who are supporting Wike, I think they are not doing a good thing to Nigerian democracy, especially in Rivers State. And of course, history will not forget them. Whatever king that rules or that bears, and people rejoice, and they said people will definitely remember, and whoever that brought pain, people will also remember. So I should feel that Mr. President can still call them to order, call his minister to order, call the party hierarchy, even in the states, to order and speak to them, because he is the president of Nigeria, not just the president of one political party or the other. And I was expecting that there will be a statement, released yesterday from the presidency or from the office of the president, to speak so that they can nip this thing in the bud before he escalates to something else and bring a kind of anxiety, bring a kind of chaos that we don't want to see happen in Rivers State. I think the Mr. President should speak about it, and just like people are saying, leave this man, all those different groups and all of that, before people begin to take up and to defend whoever paid them, like they said, that whoever paid the whoever pay. Of course, those who in support of Wike, they will continue to support. They want Fubara removed, and those who are, fighting for democracy, that let Fubara breathe. Let me put it that way.
Well, Mr. Fetaya, aptly put there. Just on the side, you always wish sometimes that whoever pays for the internet also dictates the speed and the predictability. Sometimes the internet just acts.
That's another. Thank you.
But let's take a look at New Telegraph.
Whoever paid the piper dictated tune. Yeah.
Right.
Paid the piper dictated tune. Yeah.
The New Telegraph also has the impeachment story, but thankfully it's not the big story for New Telegraph. The big story for the New Telegraph is on insecurity, and you see, Afenifere decries upsurge in terror attacks in Southwest. Others challenges Southwest governors to take urgent action. X-raying moves by northern governors and Buratai sues ex-army general who accused him of funding terrorism. So it looks like it depends on what region you're looking at. Everybody has their own challenges to grapple with, and states as well. But this one is of major concern. I mean, insecurity anywhere in Nigeria is concerning, but when you see that it is sort of moving across, not just northwest, north central, or northeast, we're now seeing southwest as well. So it looks like these people are going all over, and hopefully we hope that this is not a breakfast that everybody will eat. So what do you make of this, particularly Oyo State attack just early in the week? 5 park rangers killed by these terrorists in Oyo State.
Yes, I think it's a wake-up call. I thought towards the end of last year, where the Southwest governors, came together that we want to secure our border and all of that. I've not seen the outcome of that meeting being implemented, or coming that from that meeting being implemented. Now it's becoming worrisome. We felt that it was in core north, snowball to north central and now southwest, like they said, because it's happening in my neighborhood. That means somehow it might get to you. But I think they should stand up and do the right thing. I was still talking about state police, because we need to secure our border. And just like we're told that some of these elements from the northern part, they are running away, fleeing, because the military or the security personnel, they are giving them a run for their money. So I think it's a wake-up call for them, and they should put necessary machinery in place. If you still want to do the Amotekun, train them, give them whatever necessary to, and especially they also need to invest more when it comes to hardware, when it comes to, they can come together, 5, 6, 7 governors, let's get some surveillance, to watch over the border, to watch over the movement and all of that, to make sure. It's a trying time for us in Nigeria. And whatever you do to keep your home safe and sound, and just be looking at it. And Afenifere has spoken, and I'm sure they should just stand up. Whatever it is, they met towards last year and say, we are going to do this, we support state police. What are you doing to that effect? Even this Amotekun, whatever it is they are calling, we just did them in not just rampart like that, but these are secure life and property. Whatever it is they can do, they should do it now before it escalates, that the whole of Southwest is being taken over with security challenge.
Just before we let you go, let's still on the New Telegraph newspaper, just at the bottom right, that should be Atiku Amechi will be among leading candidates for ADC presidential ticket. That's according to ascribed to Chief Dele Momodu, because the speculations, the grandstanding, if you will, the interest wrangling, and it's typical of politics, because everybody has to show up at the primaries to throw their weight to see how far it goes. But he's saying that these are the prominent candidates to be able to emerge for presidential ticket. What do you make of this list?
Please, can you retake the list? I missed you for
okay.
5 seconds.
Atiku, as in ADC likelihood in terms of their ticket for presidential ticket, Dele Momodu says Atiku Amechi Obi among the leading candidates for ADC presidential ticket.
Yes, of course. They also control their follower. They have millions of followers or people who share in their own personal ideology. And of course, being a member of, respect to Chief Dele Momodu, being a member of that party, of the new coalition, I think he has his own right to, say, look, these are the material that we have that we can work with. Of course, I'm sure whether they want to do direct or indirect primary, they should just make it free and fair. And if there can be like a meeting that, okay, whoever emerges all other candidates should, throw their support behind such an individual. And just like I said, they should also make it open even before the primary. If you are going to zone our distance to south or to the north or to whatever it is, let them make it open so that we know that, okay, this is where they are going. And of course, those people mentioned, they should also have it at the back of their mind. It's not a do or die and a fear. If you know that this other person have what Nigeria need, why not support, and you can become the hero of democracy, but not just until you are in power before you can serve Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adeni Ifetayo, always bringing us up to speed with your perspective on the issues. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Guys, just for mention, I saw something on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper. It's a report from a research that was conducted. And it says Nigerian youths are politically active online, but silent offline. I'll take that again for emphasis. Nigerian youths are politically active online, silent offline. So I wonder if this year or 2027 will be the year that Nigerian youths will now become more active offline, because you can only do much online, right? Yes, you can mobilize, you can put up those comments, tweets and retweets, likes and what have you, but the real work actually happens offline, on the ground, the grassroots, as they say. So I'm really hoping that this year will be the year that we translate all of that activity online to offline.
And Kari, speaking of offline, the All Progressives Congress has started its e-registration exercise.
Online or offline?
Well,
both online and offline.
Both online and offline. And the ABC, by the way, is doing some form of registration as well. So how many youths who are, inactive offline are supposed to be there? And so those, we should be drawing their attention to it such that we do not continue Lamentation Part 2 post 2027 when the results come out. If Nigerians are so disgruntled, disillusioned by the status quo, by the scheme of things, then they should begin to make themselves available as well, offline as well as online. And that report is quite critical. We should be looking at the details of it as well, to look at, the demography of the youths that are supposed to be active offline that are not active offline.
Guys, for me, I'm thinking a bit differently. I've been processing it, and it makes me very sad because I've done my own analytics, and I found out that in Nigeria, politicians are not building political parties. We're not. As far as I'm concerned, APC, PDP, Labour, all of them are just political platform. No one has demonstrated yet. I'll give you my conclusion, where I got to this point. First, PDP ruled this country for 16 years. They even boasted they will be here for 60 years. 16 years. 10 years after, it's almost like we're trying to say, PDP, can you just survive one more election cycle? 10 years, just 10 years. Labour Party did an outlier effect in the last election. Nobody gave them a chance, no structure, no governor. Now, Peter Obi has left, all these people have left. It's almost as good as Krista that we don't know what their fates will be yet, but we're speaking to our next guest who maybe is going to twist that as well. We can go on to say, now, a lot of those guys now have moved to the ADC, they're still NNPP. My worry is that APC has also not been tested. When, I'm not saying if, when APC loses election, because you win some, you lose some. When they lose election, we'll now know. PDP couldn't survive barely 10 years. Can APC survive? So it feels to me like what is going on is that the political class, they're just going around using these parties as SPVs, and it's not good for democracy. It's not good to build a culture of ideology. I was studying American elections. I saw an election, I think, in Nixon or Carter in '72, where I think the Republican won supermajority, over 500 plus electoral college votes. That means they won about 48 states. In the next election, 4 years after, next election, that party lost election. Because there's a culture of almost some families have been Republicans, some families have been. So to buttress what you guys are saying, young people should leave online alone for a while, join political party, go join APC, go join PDP, join parties.
And don't need to leave online.
Yes,
yeah.
Go and join a political party. Build. If your party loses election, stay there, not this defection. We cannot build a society like this. It makes me sad. So, trust me, I have said it, and I want to be quoted on record. The day APC loses election, the day they lose election, you see the same set of people, with the greatest respect to a lot of them, they will start moving to whichever party wins that election, will be say, to align with the center in the interest of our people. What kind of politics are we running in this country? It just makes me, I don't know. This is not sustainable.
Right.
Perhaps anytime I say these things, I want to concede to Kayode, which he keeps telling me that you may want to admit that this is our own brand of politics. And it's not difficult to, I don't know.
Well, it doesn't mean it's good, but sometimes you just have to define it for what it is. But big questions have been asked this morning, and guess what? We'll be getting some answers as much as we can from our next guest. He was the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election. So stay with us. Mr. Dati Baba Ahmed joins us in a moment. We'll be right back.